what I'm going to show you is how to create an Access database that links to Visual Studio 2012. Right, first thing to do is load up Visual Studio and create a new project. And make sure it's a Windows form application and give it a name. So I'm going to call this vb2012 v4, it's version 4. Click OK. Now make sure you've got all your save settings set up properly, and once you've done that, then do a save all, so it creates all the folders for the project. Okay, so mine's on the C drive, yours will be on the sandbox. Click save and wait. Right, once you've done that, just run it to make sure it works. Nothing, you only get that. Right, so that's fine. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is, I'll just minimize that. What I want to do is chuck this database here, which is just a simple two-table database. Two tables, TBL mark there, and student. A student can have many marks. So there's primary key, foreign key, and that's going to be the one that we connect to in Visual Studio. So I'll just close that down. Right, now what I want to do is put that database in the folder for that project. So there is what I just created, db test 2012 v4. So just put it in that folder, so when you take the project home, everything goes with it. So I'm just going to put that in there. Right, now the next thing we want to do is actually create a new data source for that database. So what I do is click Project, Add New Data Source, and it's a database. Next, we want the data set is the second thing, but that's selected anyway. Then next again. Now it's a new connection, so click New. Right, now by default it'll probably come up with SQL Server. It's not as Access, so we change that to Access Database File. I'm going to click on Always Use the Selection, click OK, and then browse for your database. Now mine's in, so I've got to go all the way through here. Visual Studio 2012 projects, and then v4, and there it is. Now if you have problems at this stage, you need to download the Microsoft Access Database Engine. It'll probably only happen if you don't have Access installed, which is okay, you don't have to have Access installed. But that'll be on the notes how to do that. Right, next. Now this is really important that you click No now. If you click Yes, it's basically cocks up the whole thing. So just click No. So it's a connection you want, it's a local data file, not in your current project. Would like to copy? The answer is no, you don't, and you always click No to this one. And then next again. Now because the database is already created, we're going to click on Tables. Views are just another word for queries. Click Finish. Now that's going to basically do a couple of things in your project. Right, the first one is in Solution Explorer we will have this thing called a data set, which is like a local copy of, well, not a copy, but a description of your database locally, held locally. And then in the app.config, the really important bit is this thing called connection string. That tells us where the database is, specifically this bit here. And this is important because when we move the project home, this bit will have to change, but only that bit. And the other thing you want to have open now is View Server Explorer. Okay, and what we want to do is we can just view our database without having to go to Access. So what we're going to do here is do new, add connection, similar sort of thing as before. Make sure it's the same one. It's come up in the right folder by default. Click OK, and now we can view the tables. But the only thing you can't do here is view the database diagram or the relationship diagram. And that's it. We should be ready to go, apart from one other thing. Now what we need to do to help us write SQL queries against our database, it's a good idea, well, to have this class that's already been pre-created. Now this class is on my Brock, so if you go to my Brock, it is here. It's called DB connector. Now it's a text file because I can't put a class file on there. So if you just download that, so I'll download it to my desktop. So save target as, put it to desktop, and then now what I'm going to do is just rename that. So there it is there. Now I'm going to rename it .vb. Now you might have problems doing this on college system because you can't see it, but you can. So I'm going to go yes. Now next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop that in the folder where the database is. And then I'm going to add it to my project. So I've added it to my folder. I've just renamed it, so it's class CLS, short for class. Then I'm going to go in here. Now click on the project in Solution Explorer, right click, add, and then existing item, and you should see, so we need to go up a level. There it is there, class. Double click, right, it's now, it would have moved that into the correct place. So there it is. So let's double click on that. Here is the code. Now this is a class that will enable us to do queries against a database, which I'll go into in a different one. Now just before we do anything, just run it to make sure it works. Now the only thing you might need to change here is this. Now mine works because that connection string is already set up. So it basically comes from the name of your database. So my database was called test.ac, and then with the word or words connection string appended to the end. So mine worked by default because my database is called test.ac, and this is where it was obviously created earlier. But yours database, if it's different, won't work there. So all you do is delete it and then start on there and just write the name of the database, and it will come up with the word connection string. Right, so quickly just save all, then run it, and no errors. Right, so that's basically the first part. We've now got the database in the project, and then we can start doing stuff to it, and that is